Hello, everyone. Rod sharing with music lets them know. When a client gets in the car, there were times when I was doing ride sharing that I had music playing. That was never like loud. Well, it was loud until I was pulling up to pick up a client, but I always kept it at a reasonable level to where they could hear it. Now I would let them know several different things. There were times when I were doing rides and the music would let the client know that, hey, times are going to get better. Um, would also let the client know, like, hey, don't worry about what you can't control. But then it was some songs that would come on that would put them back in the mode that had them, like, sometimes disappointing. Other times they were reflecting because I would play different genre of music. I would play R&B. I would play some hip hop, some jazz, some country, even some blues. And then other times I would just let the radio play, and sometimes the radio will play different things depending on the day of the week. So I remember there was one time I picked up a client. It was her and her kid. Picked them up from like a science fair. This was during the summer at the time, and I was taking them back home. And there was some music playing, like some early '90s um, music with Will Smith and Jazzy Jeff called "Summertime." Anyone, I think, not anyone, but most people, have heard that song, if not more than twice, at least once. And if not, check it out. It's a good family and summertime classic. So, anywho, she hears it comes on, and Crystal, she says, "Hey, turn that up." I turn it up just a little bit because some people, you don't know their ears. Some people's ears are sensitive when music is real loud. But then she asked me to turn it up more, and then she started singing the lyrics, and I was driving, just having a good time. Um, and even her kid kind of knew a little bit of the words too, so that just kind of let me know, like, well, hey, this wasn't her first time hearing the song. This led to her, talking about how the weather was good, today was going to be a good day, today was going well, and I agree with her. I told her that, hey, the day is going well, but I think a lot of that stem outside of mindset. The music. The music just let her know that, hey, it's okay to vibe. It's okay to be upbeat. No matter what you have going on. When I say have going on, it doesn't have to even have a negative connotation. It can be something positive. You can be doing some foreshadowing. You can be inquisitive. So others are those things. So I get to the point of their residency, dropped them off out of the pool. She got out the car and told me keep jamming. There was another occasion. I was driving and I picked up some young ladies. They hopped in the back and they asked me to play, some country music. Now I've heard a few songs, a few artists. Can't recall the names, but I know it if I hear it. So I didn't ask them, what country artists they wanted to listen to, but instead I just went on my Spotify playlist and typed in country playlist. A whole list of songs came up, and I was taking them downtown Fort Worth to the livestock. This was at nighttime, and I will say I had a good learning experience on that ride because they let me know, and the music let me know as a ride share driver, and the individuals in the back seat that, hey, there was some good music. The music had good lyrics, different artists, and to me, my opinion, they all sounded like R&B songs. Like, all had a story, had some substance to it. Wasn't just speaking with no substance behind it. It had good beats, good melodies, good rhythm, and they were jamming out as I was driving, doing what women do. conversing. A few of them asked me some questions. Have I ever heard this song, that song? And I was like, no, it's my first time. But I was jamming to it in my own way. And in fact, they told me that a few of the artists at the time that were playing, and I didn't know the names, that they were, about to come into town to Arlington, and that they were going to go see a few of them. And by the time I dropped them off to their destination at the stockyards, guess what I did? As I continued to drive, I continued to listen to the whole country playlist. And I lied to you or not. Now I got the whole playlist saved. I mean, different races, different voices, but all were concise stories. And I was like, yo, they have another fan. So now I'll rock country music, just like anytime I'll rock any kind of other music that I listen to, no matter what time of the day. It's like if I want to hear it, I'll cut it on, and I'll treat it like a old school CD from the early '90s and just let the whole playlist play. Um, so yeah, music and doing ride share, it lets the client know. You know, it puts them in a different state of mind, as I said. Positive, negative thinking. Um, I mean, I was driving one time and I was just listening to the radio at this time, and it was a man and woman in the back, um, Ashley and Andrew. And Taylor Swift had came on the radio. And if anyone knows anything about her music, she usually makes some of her music about past relationships that didn't, they came to a conclusion. Because there's most things that have a beginning, has an ending. And this led to um, her and her husband, singing the lyrics out loud. It led to the wife asking her husband, like, you feeling the lyrics I see? And I just chuckled because, music has the propensity to evoke things out of people. And, they just continued talking about Taylor Swift, and then that led to them asking me what I thought about her, you know, being with Travis Kelsey at the games and things like that. So it was a good conversation. I told him that, hey, I have no issue with Taylor. She where she want to be. She make good music, and if someone music isn't for me or I don't like their taste, I just move on to a different artist. But I don't talk down to them. I don't hate on them, because everyone has the right to listen or not listen or have a difference of opinion. But when you're doing ride share the music, it always lets your clients know. I remember one time I was listening to some what would be deemed old school hip hop. I was listening to the 1996 album. It was written by Nas, and I picked up this woman like downtown Dallas, and she hopped in my car, and I had the music up loud, I should say. Anyone that was watching me drive, they can tell I was really vibing to it. So she hops in, turn it down, and then she was like, "Hey, you can turn it back up." I think it's probably where I was bobbing my head to the song. Um, she was like, "You're not from here, are you?" I was like, "No." I was like, I told her that I've been here for a while, but originally from the East Coast. And she was like, "I could tell by the music you're listening to." And she was saying how she spent some time up north, and that led to her talking about Nas and other hip hop artists and other musical artists just in general, about how you could tell by different styles, um, different cadings, different similes and metaphors. So that was a good conversation. And when I dropped her off to where she needed to go, she said, told me to continue to have a good day, and said that she liked the music that I was listening to, and that she never heard any of the tracks from it was written. So that was good. It's just a good thing. Music is a wonderful thing. You know, there was once a time, and it's currently still a time where music can still put people in all kind of moods: positive, provocative, negative, pondering. You can have a thinking session and have some music playing. Um, but those were some of my experiences when I was doing ride share and playing music. So for those individuals that currently do ride share, play that music. You know, the music can help. It can help you. It can help your client. It can help your client stay to themselves. It can help your client relax. You know, it may even, you know, allow your client to vent or just to open up. You know, because you know we as people never know what other people are going through. So you know, that's all for today. Make sure to go to Amazon and check out my book. Yeah, my book is about anyone that has done ride share, may it be driving or riding, or any individuals that feel as though they're alone going through life, dealing with challenges. It's a self-help book, just about staying in the fight, showing up every day, being grateful. If you have your health, anything is possible. You just gotta put your mind through it. But some things are easier said than done. And if you or you know of anyone that feel as though they need some help getting their mind right, um, wanting to be about action and not talking, feel free to check out the book. Like I said, you can click on the link. It'll definitely help you. Um, yeah, that's all for today. So like, share, and subscribe, and have a good one. Talk to you all later. Peace.